Alone on an empty street, he could feel something following him. Something that should not exist. Every shadow, every whisper, every heartbeat told him he was not alone. But when he turned, there was nothing. Or was there? What would you do if the darkness itself was hunting you, and your own fear became your worst enemy? Tonight, you will walk with the wounded, and witness the terror that will not let him go. Footsteps echoed along the empty street. The wind blew hard, shaking the trees violently. The smell of smoke mixed with damp earth filled the air. He kept walking slowly, feeling the pain in his arm. His heart pounded as if it might burst from his chest. Sweat dripped down his forehead. Dried blood clung to his clothes. Every step felt like the whole world was spinning around him. Shadows around him looked wrong. Every shadow seemed to move with him. The echo in his mind grew louder. The silence made every sound around him feel unbearably sharp. He saw a figure at the end of the street. The figure did not move, yet its eyes were hollow and empty. His heart raced, almost stopping. A chill ran deep inside him. His hands trembled as he raised them to cover his mouth. Every familiar sound now felt like a warning. The smell of smoke and blood mingled in the air. He felt something following his every step. His eyes locked on something he wished he could unsee. The person he saw standing there vanished. Yet the trail of blood stretched ahead on the pavement. It was as if it was calling him forward. Pain in his body and mind merged together. Each step became heavier, as if the world pressed him down. His vision blurred with sweat and fear. He saw multiple figures in the dark corners. But as he moved closer, they disappeared. A soft, hollow laughter came from the darkness. He stopped and slowly turned around. His heart pounded violently in his chest. The figure from before appeared closer. Its eyes were empty, lifeless. He felt a coldness radiate from it. It was as if darkness itself was wrapping around him. Every step made his heartbeat and the sound of blood in his veins loud and clear. He knew something was right behind him. But when he turned, no one was there. Only the blood trail and a chilling silence remained. The street stretched endlessly before him. The dim streetlights flickered, casting uneven shadows across cracked asphalt. He could hear the faint rustle of leaves, though no wind had blown that far. Each step he took seemed to make the shadows twitch and bend unnaturally. Pain radiated through his left arm. He touched it briefly and felt sticky, dried blood. It was not just the physical pain, it was the ache in his chest, the pounding in his head. Fear made every heartbeat feel like a hammer, each breath shallow and forced. He glanced over his shoulder. Nothing, but the sensation of being watched pressed heavily against his skin. A whisper of movement, a shift in the darkness, made him stumble slightly. The echo of his own footsteps sounded like someone else walking beside him. A sudden smell of smoke hit him, sharp and acrid. He gagged slightly, tasting it in his mouth, bitter and metallic. The street around him was empty, yet smoke curled from cracks in the pavement, thin wisps twisting toward him. He knew there had been no fire nearby, yet the smell persisted, choking him. Up ahead, he saw the figure again. Closer now. Its eyes, or what he thought were eyes, glowed faintly in the dim light. He could not move. His legs felt rooted to the ground, heavy as if the asphalt itself weighed him down. Something shifted in the figure. It raised a hand slowly. He wanted to run, but his body refused. The shadows around it stretched unnaturally, creeping toward him, curling like black smoke. A soft, hollow laughter echoed in the distance. It was familiar, yet it was not human. He forced a step backward. Pain lanced through his ribs. He gritted his teeth and stumbled forward, clutching his arm. The figure mirrored him. Every move he made, it made too, exactly, impossibly. Panic gripped him. His mind screamed at him to break the pattern, but fear pinned him in place. The blood trail stretched further than he had realized. It led to a narrow alleyway, darker than the street behind him. He hesitated. Something about that alley made the air feel thicker, heavier, like a weight pressing against his lungs. The hairs on the back of his neck stood on end. A sudden noise, metal clanging against concrete, made him spin around. Nothing there. Only his own echo, distorted and mocking. The alleyway seemed to breathe, shadows expanding and contracting as if alive. His heartbeat pounded in his ears. Every instinct screamed to turn back, yet he knew he had to follow the blood. With trembling legs, he entered the alley. It was narrower than he expected, walls damp and streaked with dark stains. The smell of decay hit him, stronger here, mixed with iron, the unmistakable scent of blood. His head swam. The figure appeared at the alley entrance behind him, taller now, its presence suffocating. He dared not look directly at its face, but he felt its gaze pierce through him. A low, almost inaudible whisper drifted to him from the darkness. His name. He froze. It was his voice calling him, but twisted, wrong. The air seemed to vibrate with the sound. Every instinct told him to run, yet fear rooted him to the spot. He stumbled forward, following the blood trail. The alley opened into a small courtyard, abandoned, overgrown with weeds. The walls were covered in old graffiti, peeling paint, and dark stains. The figure stood at the far end, unmoving. Closer now, yet still impossibly far, as if the distance warped in the shadows. The air was cold, unnaturally cold, biting through his shirt. He could see his own breath forming clouds in front of him. Every step he took echoed loudly, deafening in the silence. The figure raised its arm slowly. The hollow laugh returned, louder now, echoing from all sides. He tried to scream, but no sound came. His throat felt raw, his chest tight. The figure advanced with a slow, deliberate pace. He turned to run, but the alley behind him had vanished. The street, the buildings, the city, all gone. Only the courtyard remained, dark and suffocating. Suddenly, he realized the blood on the ground moved. Not flowing, not dripping, but crawling, as if alive. It twisted into shapes, fingers, faces, whispering his name. The figure reached him. Its eyes were black pits, endless and consuming. He could feel the cold seep into his bones. A sharp pain shot through his arm again. He looked down. The wound had reopened, blood now warm and pulsing. But that was not all. His own shadow moved on its own, stretching, twisting, detaching from him. It climbed the walls, reached for the sky, swallowing the faint light from above. The laughter became a chorus, echoing in every corner of the courtyard. He dropped to his knees, clutching his head. The walls seemed to close in, the ground tilting beneath him. The figure bent closer. Its whispering became clear. You cannot leave. You are already part of this. Everything went still for a moment. Then, a cold hand touched his shoulder. He tried to turn, to fight, but his body the shadows began to recede, slowly, as if sensing his acceptance. The cold hand on his shoulder vanished. The courtyard remained, but the crawling blood had stopped moving. The figure lingered at a distance, its hollow eyes watching silently. He sank to the ground, exhausted. Every muscle ached, every heartbeat raw with fear. He realized the pain, the wounds, and the terror were part of him now. Part of his journey. Part of his survival. A faint light appeared at the edge of the courtyard. Not warm, not welcoming, just enough to see, to breathe. He rose slowly, unsteady, dragging his injured arm with him. The whispers had faded, replaced by a soft hum, like wind through distant trees. With each step toward the light, he felt the weight on his chest ease slightly. The figure remained, motionless, a silent reminder of the horrors behind him. He did not look back. He could not. Some things were meant to follow, but some paths demanded moving forward. He emerged onto a street bathed in pale moonlight. The city felt empty, yet alive in a quiet, fragile way. His body ached, but he could breathe fully again. The wounds on his arm throbbed, but he could walk. The blood trail had vanished. The shadows no longer stretched toward him. Only the memory remained, a whisper in the corners of his mind. He paused, looking up at the moon, pale and distant. A deep exhale escaped him. For the first time, he realized that walking wounded did not mean broken. It meant surviving, enduring, rising again. And though the echoes of that courtyard would follow him, he would continue moving forward. One painful, trembling step at a time. The night was still, but he had found his way out. The walking wounded could still walk. Dash dash dash.